So, pre-pandemic, I was standing in a corner of my library and I asked myself, can I really call myself a library assistant if I haven't read a book from the inspiring romance section? The answer was no. So, I closed my eyes and I pulled a book off the shelf. Did you know Amish Suspense was a subgenre of romance? Me either. Let's talk about it. The book I pulled was Amish Rescue by Debby Guisti or Guisti, I'm not sure. So, Sarah Miller is non Amish and captive to an Englisher or non Amish man. The book begins with our perceptive hero, Joachim, seeing Sarah signal for help inside her house, then she escapes her captor by hiding in his buggy. Already, we're off to a really strong start. Joachim is a handsome man, he's tall, he's capable, and he will not call the cops because this Amish community does not trust the police. So, this particular Amish community believes ACAB, which was probably one of the best parts of the book. This also really helps the plot and the pace of the novel because if the protagonists are in trouble, they can't call the police for help, so the stakes are high. One thing I struggled with in this novel and all the Amish suspense books that I read was the sheer amount of trauma everyone experienced in these books. It was really staggering. In some cases, these characters would be involved in attempted kidnappings or shootouts or wildly threatening situations. And then in the next chapter, the book would be like, everyone was having a brilliant lunch together and what a great day it was, and everyone slept so well the night before. And like, if I'm involved in a shootout, I am not going to sleep well that night. But the romance between Joachim and Sarah was still pretty good. There's this scene where he's like building a house on the roof and he smiles at her and gives her a smile she can feel in her well being, quote unquote, which is like the G rated version of Raymond Chandler's Give Me a Smile I Can Feel in My Hip Pocket, quote unquote, which I loved. I enjoyed both the characters, but every single plot twist, drama, or hint was resolved in the last 12 pages of the novel, and the breakneck pace was not my vibe at all and didn't really seem to suit the slow pace of an Amish lifestyle either. Then I read Hidden in Amish Country by Dana R. Lynn. This one is about Amish widower Ben Mast, his son, and our English protagonist Sadie Standings. My Goodreads review for this one is simply like, this is literally one of the most dramatic books I've ever read, so let me go remember it and get back to you.
One eternity later.
This one has amnesia as one of its cornerstones for the plot, where Sadie wakes up from a car accident and cannot remember much at all. It was really heavy and tough to get through. Many times the author includes Ben's son in these hugely traumatic events, and that made it a hard book to read. I was trained as an elementary or primary teacher, so anytime a child is in significant danger in a book, I get really distracted and preoccupied with how I could bring the child to safety. So, yeah. I think what makes these Amish suspense novels work is the fact that you have these complementing themes of family, faith, and love, and then like intense, gripping, dangerous situations. This context can make a really powerful point about the Amish way of life and makes mornings working in the field, stovetop coffee, and pancakes for breakfast very appealing. Why would you want to live in this dark, tortured life if you could live with the Amish surrounded by family and loved ones? But I don't think it worked in this book. I still believed Ben and Sadie's relationship, but I found the formula really jarring in this book, and I don't know why. It was still really readable though, so I feel like that counts for something. Then I read Amish Covert Operation by Megan Carver. This featured Amish widow Katie and an ICE agent, Adam Troyer. Because it was an Amish suspense romance novel, we therefore had a car accident, substance issues, amnesia, disguises for no reason, the hero and heroine professing their love for each other after very traumatic events. The hero was an ICE agent, which was really not my vibe at all, but his name was Adam, he was brooding, and he had a rich baritone, so I just pictured Adam Driver. That really helped. I also liked that Katie's character felt very well developed with some great moments of inner reflection and inner dialogue. In the two other books, I sometimes felt like the Amish characters were almost a little too private, which I know is a core belief and practice in Amish culture, but I still wanted to get to know the characters. Katie's character was great and came to life, but the plot was a total mess, and the fact that the main hero was an ICE agent was just something I couldn't really support, and I also don't really understand why he was an ICE agent. There were many choices that the author made in this book that were really perplexing, and the book and I just did not vibe. After that, my time reading Amish Suspense came to an end. I gave all of these books 3 stars. Sometimes the formula worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes the characters were well developed, sometimes they weren't. Sometimes the romances were believable, sometimes they weren't. They were very heavily based in faith, so if that's not your thing, skip these altogether. I did like a lot of the male protagonists in these books. They were strong, stoic, there weren't that many moments of toxic masculinity, despite really rigid gender roles, which was a pleasant surprise. But the plots were wild, the writing was rushed and stressful, and the books I read weren't that satisfying to read. That said, do I regret reading these books? Absolutely not. Would I do it again? Hard to tell. Will I read queer Amish books? You bet I will. If Amish Suspense is your vibe, I'll link a Goodreads list down below with a bunch of suggestions. It's called Plain Peril, Amish-themed books with mystery and romance. Otherwise, there's a bunch of other titles. Amish Country Amnesia by Megan Carver, Amish Hideout by Maggie K. Black, The Amish Witness by Diane Burke, and my personal favorite title, Amish Christmas Emergency by Dana R. Lynn. The more you know. What's the weirdest genre of book you've discovered? Let's talk down in the comments below. Bye everyone!